In a dusty, sunburnt town on the edge of the city, nestled between rusted iron rooftops and broken market stalls, lived a girl named Esther. Her life was stitched together with hardship, but her heart overflowed with a rare kind of kindness that even the rich struggled to offer. Esther was just 19. Her father had died when she was a baby, and her mother passed away 2 years ago from a sickness they couldn't afford to name. Since then, she lived alone in a shack made of old plywood and plastic sheets, barely held together by hope. She sold roasted groundnuts and sachets of pure water to survive, making just enough to eat once a day, sometimes not at all. Yet even in her own hunger, every day without fail, Esther walked across town with a small bowl of food she had saved from her own portion and gave it to a crippled beggar who sat in silence at the corner of the busy market road. He was always there, ragged, silent, eyes down, crutches beside him. His legs were twisted. People passed him like he didn't exist. Some children threw stones at him. Sellers used him as a warning. If you don't work hard, you'll end up like that man. But Esther never looked at him with disgust. To her, he was still a human being, forgotten but worthy. She would kneel before him, gently place the food beside him, and say, "God has not forgotten you." People mocked her. "Esther, you can't even feed yourself. Why waste food on that useless cripple?" She would smile, not in pride but in peace. "If I can eat, he can too. Maybe one day, someone will feed me when I have nothing." What she didn't know was that someone was watching her. Not just someone powerful, someone with secrets. Esther's life was hard, but her spirit glowed with a quiet fire. Her roasted groundnuts business was small, just a tray, a plastic stool, and a broken umbrella to shade her from the scorching sun. One day, as she sat fanning her fire with one hand and twisting newspaper cones with the other, a sleek black car stopped beside her. A woman stepped out in high heels and a floral scarf that smelled like lavender. "You're Esther, right?" the woman asked. Esther looked up, startled. "Yes, ma." The woman handed her a polythene bag filled with bread, canned beans, and bottled water. "For your kindness," she said, then walked away before Esther could speak. Esther stood frozen. "How did she know my name?" she whispered. "How did she know?" Across the street, the crippled man looked up just for a second. Their eyes met, and he smiled. That was the first time she saw his teeth. It was also the first time she noticed his eyes were not sad. They were watching, thinking, calculating. Something was shifting in the wind. A storm of destiny was quietly brewing. 3 days passed. Esther still brought food every day. But on the 4th day, something changed. The corner was empty. The crippled man was gone. She searched nearby. She asked other sellers, "Did you see the beggar?" One woman shrugged. "He just disappeared." Another man laughed. Maybe someone finally took pity and carried him away. But Esther's heart sank. She felt like she had lost a part of herself. She wandered around the market aimlessly, carrying the untouched food back to her stall. That night, as the rain fell softly on her plastic roof, there was a knock, a slow, steady knock. She opened the door. No one was there, just a sealed envelope on the ground. Her name was written in bold letters, Esther. Inside was a note, "Come to 17 Hibiscus Lane tomorrow. Alone. No sender, no signature, just a golden wax seal." Esther didn't sleep that night. Her mind raced with questions. Who wrote the note? How did they know where she lived? Why did it feel like her life was about to change? And why did it feel like someone was watching her again? The next morning, Esther walked barefoot for over an hour. Hibiscus Lane was in a part of town she had never entered, where the roads were tarred, the houses had gates, and flowers bloomed in every corner. Number 17 was a mansion, white pillars, polished marble, glass windows that reflected the sun. The gate opened without her knocking. A man in a black suit said, "Esther, come in. He's expecting you." Her heart pounded. Inside the mansion, everything sparkled. Chandeliers like ice, rugs that looked untouched, walls filled with paintings and books. Then, from the corner of the room, he emerged. The same man, but he wasn't crippled. He walked, no crutches, no twisted legs. "Why you can walk." Esther gasped, stepping back. He nodded. "Yes, I was never crippled." Esther's world spun. Why pretend? Tears filled his eyes. "I lost everything. My company, my family, my trust in humanity. I sat on that street to see if compassion still existed. People gave me money, but only once. Some kicked me, some spat. Only one person came every day, without asking for anything. He reached into a drawer and placed a file on the table. You passed the test I didn't know I needed. Now let me bless you. The file contained documents, a scholarship, a new apartment, a small business fund in her name. Esther couldn't speak. Her lips trembled. Why me? The man smiled. Because you gave me hope when I had none. And I want you to know that kindness is never wasted. As he walked her through the mansion, he showed her a wall filled with photos, images of people he had helped, organizations he had built. He wasn't just rich, he was a philanthropist who had once built schools, hospitals, and homes. But when I was betrayed, he said, I lost the will to help anyone. You reignited that fire, Esther cried, not out of shock, but out of deep, overwhelming gratitude. The next week, she moved into a modest but beautiful flat. She was enrolled in a university. Her groundnut business became a mini shop. The man whose name was Mr. Dapo became like a father to her. He shared wisdom, stories, and lessons about life. He taught her how to lead with integrity. One day, as they sat in his garden, he said, Esther, never forget, your kindness didn't just change my life, gave me a reason to live again. And Esther smiled, because now, she too had a feed the forgotten, to see those unseen, and to be the miracle someone else is praying for. Moral of the story, sometimes, the ones you help the most quietly are the ones who carry the greatest blessings. Kindness may look small, but in the eyes of destiny, it echoes louder than any wealth. You never know who's watching you. You never know who God is testing, and you never know when your greatest reward will come, hidden in rags, with a secret worth more than gold.